Forward started by a simple conversation with Paul Mitchell at ESN, talking a little bit about some of the things that ESN was working on as it relates to transportation and the mission of IHCDA, which is to develop affordable housing, promote self-sufficiency, and to build strong communities.
Energy Systems Network has been working on a number of transportation issues for a number of years, particularly in the Indianapolis community around electric vehicle technology. And Jake, who is an old friend of mine, obviously has been working on affordable housing issues through the Indiana Housing Community Development Authority. So we got together and we started swapping stories about what we were working on, and we realized that we really were both addressing two sides of the same coin. Affordability of housing and affordability of transportation.
Opened up a request for qualifications, and from that we had 11 respondents who responded to the RFQ, and then we invited them in to give us a presentation with their development team and to really understand how their development teams would work together to address housing and transportation. From that, we had to make a very difficult decision. We had to decide which two development teams would we invite into moving forward this year. And with that, we invited PEDCOR and BWI.
My initial thought was it was an innovative program. Jake Seith has been with the authority for a long time, so it made a lot of sense that Jake was trying to do this. He's an innovative guy. He's always looking for an opportunity to improve the program. And he's willing to take some risk to do so, and so I took it in that vein.
Well, when I found out about the opportunity here for moving forward, first of all, it was pretty interesting, pretty exciting, especially for me being an engineer by training, and then developing some skill and expertise in the development and finance area second. This was a great marriage for my expertise, the organization that we've built, and also our passion here for the social aspect of this development.
Right, so the workshops are designed to really first start thinking about big picture and diverge of all different types of ideas, big ideas, some ideas that we just want to talk through, and to get everybody, subject matter experts, development team members in the same room and talk about some of these issues that households really face in terms of impacting their monthly expenses.
I think what we're trying to accomplish is really, by the end of the 2 days, is stretching the mind of the developers and the partners involved, and coming up with two projects that have really innovative solutions that you probably couldn't come up with on your own, but that putting together a team of subject matter experts and practitioners from industry, from academia, you've got more ideas floating around and you've got more perspectives. And so the hope is that the two projects that come out of the workshop will have preliminary designs that are far more innovative than the typical approach.
It's been an interesting day and a half so far in terms of, especially with the different backgrounds of the different people involved. I'm from an energy background, but there's actually very few people here from more from the built environment or transportation. So getting the different perspectives, it's enlightening to hear people say things that are important that I've never thought of before, that I wouldn't have thought of. Other times I've made comments and I've noticed people kind of say, oh, I didn't know about that. So having that diversity of participants seems especially valuable.
Really amazing about this project is combining both high performance buildings and transportation, because that really gets at the nut for affordable housing and affordable total cost of getting to your work, getting to your home. So that's really exciting because it's very challenging to combine those functions of people's needs, but it's also incredibly exciting. Moving forward is definitely unique because it's taking it to a sort of a different level.
The workshop has been phenomenal. I mean, it's just being surrounded here with a lot of passionate people, similar to us in terms of the impact it's going to have on the community and the tenants that we're going to serve. But also just really super intelligent people that understand technology, understand built environment financing policy, and being able to share ideas with one another, and it's just been really awesome. So the big challenge so far is really going to be how to assimilate all the information, prioritize in such a way here that it's actionable, and we can pull off a really cool development here over the next 12 months.
Really exciting here the way the workshop has been run, because bringing together co-collaborative, everybody in the room, everybody learns, you move ahead together, where if you do this in series, it doesn't work. And this is one of the best organized workshops I've ever been in, so I think you'll get a high level of success out of this with all these stakeholders to come up with ideas to finally realize that the relationship between housing and transportation is one of the biggest challenges that we have, and almost nobody deals with it. They deal with the pieces, they don't never deal with the whole.
Well, I think there's two parts to success. Number one, let's talk about the importance of affordable housing and transportation. And let's talk about policy and how policy at the state, local, and federal level can impact that and influence that. So that's number one success. The second success that we're going to see is an actual development, something that you can actually go up to and see it and touch it, and it's real, and the impact that it's going to have on people's lives. You're going to see that.
Success for me is bringing, I guess, empowerment to the residents that are going to live here, bringing them a building that is better than what they may have had opportunity to live in had this program not come along, and ways of saving in the way of utility costs. Maybe the buildings themselves are a catalyst for new thought for them and how they approach their lives, and hopefully we are going to be able to provide some additional personal empowerment opportunities with this program that will lead them in a direction that maybe they hadn't thought of before.
Ultimate success, let's see what gets built, and what gets, is it substantially different than what would have happened? You know, it's one thing to call there, you know, frankly, you know, oftentimes there's an old saying, when all is said and done, a lot more is said than done.
Yeah.
So ultimately, all right, does this impact what actually gets built, and do the residents, do the tenants of this, whatever comes out of this, do they notice a difference? Does it become a standard that others emulate? Does it become an aspiration? We want to do that. Let's you know, does it become kind of a blueprint for this type of development?
I think the fact that with these are sort of pilot projects could make them easily one-off, but by selecting real sort of nuts and bolts but highly qualified developers, that's sort of the governor that's making us create projects that will be replicable. And that to me is key, because we've got plenty of examples of sort of utopian one-off projects that are laudable and admirable, but that's not really going to move forward on a larger scale. So, you know, the name of the program is really indicative. We're trying to move the whole conversation and development forward rather than just do a one-off poster child.
Success for this project, I think, for me, is three things. Number one is we need to have two developments that are highly innovative, that are very sustainable, that address affordability in housing and transportation, and are built by two world-class developers, BWI and Pedcore. And if we don't do that, then we've failed. And I feel really good about our chances there. The second thing I'd like to see happen out of this is that some of the learnings that go into these developments are transferred even into market-based developments that are being done not only by BWI and Pedcore, but by the whole developer community across the state of Indiana. And the Housing Authority gives us a platform to get that information out to an even broader audience. And then thirdly, I'd like to see this whole effort continue. I'd like to see moving forward 2 and 3 and 4, where we continue to push the envelope of what's possible, and maybe partner with other states, with the federal government, and start to expand the impact of what we're doing to other parts of the country that are in just as much, facing just the same challenges that we are here in the Hoosier State.